Snipers, you have to see what's happening in the Bitcoin price right now as there's so much going on. We'll talk about Ethereum as well. Let's dive straight into the chart. Snipers, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content. So for Bitcoin right now, there is a very important level that we are currently testing. And if we were to just look at the channel that Bitcoin is currently in, you can see we are about to test the resistance of this channel, which is just below the major resistance of 24,295. If we see any candles get above 24,295, that is a potential confirmation that 17,600 was the local bottom. The bears would say that as we come to test this channel resistance where we have the 50-day moving average, we're going to see a rejection. That's pretty much right around that $23,200 level, the 50-day moving average and channel resistance. And there's another very important resistance level that we are currently breaking out from that I want you guys to be aware of. And if we were to just look at this weekly chart resistance on the daily, you can see it a lot clearer here. You can see this line here has rejected Bitcoin in the past, and this started right around the 28th of March. And you can see right now, as we record this video and as we break out, we are having a cup of coffee telling me this is not the final destination here. And we are trying to see the bulls rescue operation intact here to try to rescue that channel resistance. If we break above the channel, once again, 24,295, that would be a major resistance. But that is the range that Bitcoin is playing in. None of this is new for those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel. We've been expecting this relief rally. As a matter of fact, I've been very conservative about this relief rally. I've talked about Ethereum hitting 1440, and we went beyond that. So let's look at Ethereum, because check this out, Snipers. There's a CME gap right now. And shout out to Uriel from our Discord for pointing this out. This is one reason I believe Ethereum is pumping right now. Just notice this massive CME gap here that we are trying to fill here. And that would mean that Ethereum could still have some potential upside on the table. And the candle low for the CME gap is 1651 with the price currently at 1564. We are just below the target here. We could expect potentially the gap below to get filled once we fill that gap up top. We may not even completely fill this gap, but this move has been overextended in my opinion. If we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, we already knew 65,000 Satoshis was a major resistance, but we got even further than that. And now we're testing the bear market resistance for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And so if we see a further break above 70,000 Satoshis for Ethereum, that would put it on my radar for potentially seeing further upside as we head into that September 18th Ethereum merge. But if we reject 70,000 Satoshis, we could assume that this relief rally could potentially be slowing down here in the immediate short term. And equity markets were pretty mixed. They opened the day quite strong, but slowly sold off through the day. And you can see the S&P 500 didn't get to test its 50-day moving average. And so that puts the scenario on the table that Bitcoin may not get to this 50-day moving average. And you can see this chart here for Coinbase. I actually have this resistance drawn out a lot clearer. You can see how important this area is right now that Bitcoin is testing. But the 50-day moving average has not been hit yet, just like what's happening with the S&P 500. That is to note here. Let's look at Bitcoin against the SPY. Are we seeing anything that could indicate Bitcoin outperforming the S&P 500? Well, look at this weekly candle. It looks really good here, above the 200-week moving average again. Let's just hope this doesn't wick back down, but this is looking really good. I would love to see Bitcoin against the SPY getting above the 50-day moving average. That's what I'm currently monitoring. That means Bitcoin can outperform the S&P 500. And I think fundamentally this would make sense, because now that Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, and Celsius and Luna are out of the way, now there's a lot of relief from the sell pressure from institutions, and we could potentially start to see higher prices for Bitcoin and a lot less sell pressure. And I'll say this just to wrap up the video, Snipers, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm if you support this content once again. If we look at Bitcoin against the money supply, we still have not tested that 100 or that 50-day moving average. Ethereum against the money supply, Ethereum is above its 50-day moving average, so that's so far so good. But outside of that, I'll mention this. The same way that Ethereum has that CME gap that it's currently filling, Bitcoin also has a CME gap here at 28,000 US dollars. It's actually the same time frame that Ethereum gap was created, that this Bitcoin CME gap was created. So we could even say that maybe Ethereum is a leading indicator that Bitcoin's targeting that CME gap at 28,000 US dollars. There's also one above that, right around the $35,135 level. So we'll continue to monitor the Bitcoin CME charts, but let's just say this: as this daily candle wraps up, we have yet to get to the 50-day moving average for Bitcoin. A break above this 50-day moving average, what we really want to see is 24,295, and for Bitcoin to use that as support. And now we could potentially consider 17,600 the short-term bottom. And the bears are going to continue to say that we're not going to get above the 50-day moving average, and they'd expect us to start finding some sell pressure here right around that $23,300, $23,200 level where the 50-day is currently sitting, and the channel resistance. So let's continue to monitor it. The major support for this week is 20,860, where we have the weekly open and the previous weekly open. So 20,860, very important level for Bitcoin. As long as we stay above 20,860, we do not have to assume 17,200 is on the table, and that 24,000 is more likely for Bitcoin in the immediate short term. And with that, thank you all snipers for tuning in to the channel today. Congratulations for those taking advantage of the markets right now at a great and opportune time. And I will see you guys next time. Smash the like button if you support this four-dimensional content. And until the next video, snipers out.